All right, welcome to Beyond the Boom with Danielle McGee-Gibson. I am super excited. I have an amazing entrepreneur, Kimberly Adams, here with me today. We're going to be talking about business. We're going to be talking about Nashville. We may talk a little Chicago.
Got to talk a little Chicago, girl.
Well, I am so excited to have you. How are you, Kim?
I'm doing good. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely.
Let me tell you something. I'm so proud of everything that you do.
Same.
Like, this is amazing. I'm like, my girl got a podcast. She was taking over the world one step at a time.
I've been avoiding it for years, but people kept telling me you still got to do it. So here we are. Thank you. But I'm so excited to have you now. You are also a fellow Chicagoan.
Well, technically, I got to say this right because my family going to be like, stop repping Chicago. I'm technically from Gary, Indiana.
Okay. Well, I can see why you...
But I moved here from Chicago. I lived in Chicago after undergrad. Friends are in Chicago. Families in Chicago. Gary and Chicago are buddies.
Yeah,
they're cousins.
It's down the street.
So that is the official hometown.
Okay, and how long have you been here?
It's been 15 years.
Oh my!
I know. I can't even believe it. It has flown by, but yeah, it's been 15 years. What originally started as me coming down to like help take care of my dad has turned into like a 15-year bid.
Okay, yeah, that's a good way to put it.
I'm joking.
No, but I'll tell you, Nashville's been good to us.
It really has.
Yeah.
I mean, there has been just such an influx of business and growth that I've been able to experience just because of what's happening in the city in a way that I think if I was in another space, it would have been a little bit harder, to just kind of matriculate through circles and stuff like that. So I am very grateful for like what I've been able to do in a very short amount of time here.
Absolutely, absolutely. Now let's talk a little bit I want to start with the events.
Okay.
And then we're going to get to the business because you put on some amazing events.
Thank you.
Really for us that a lot of people who've come from other places are looking for a vibe. Yeah. We are now older. Yeah. We get older.
A little more seasoned.
And seasoned is a good way to put it. And so we are looking for a different type of vibe. And that can be a challenge here in Nashville. But you're very intentional about creating those spaces for us. So have you always been in events, or is that something that just happened?
I would say that everything I do, I've always done in a way. And I had to do a little piece of reflection to kind of see, because a lot of times your gifts are already there and you've been leaning into them. But if you don't take the time to see how they've shown up in the past, it can kind of hinder you in the future. So I did an exercise where I could kind of see like the progression of my life. I've always really done events. Like even in high school, I would have like little parties at the house. In undergrad, we did parties. With my sorority, I did fashion shows. So it is a natural thing. But I will say that I started in Nashville just because when I moved here from Chicago, I was trying to like kick it, but like with a professional crowd. And outside of, there were a couple places like Sambuca's that was happening, but it wasn't like consistent with what I was experiencing in other places. And so we started an event called Adult Recess. And this must have been, I don't know, maybe it was like 8 or 9 years ago. Mm-hmm. And that really kind of started the whole like movement of me doing events in the city. And I had a couple partners at the time, and we moved that event around. But we really were trying to expose people to luxury Black experiences in Black-owned places and outside of them in white spaces where we typically couldn't get into, or they might go, but it's
and you're the only one.
You the only one, or they playing honky tonk, because we didn't have the top 40 spots back like we have now. Yeah. Back then, everything was country, so. That's really what kicked it off. And then, now we have the Black Bar Crawl. We have Indulge, which is a weekly brunch party. I have Poor Decisions, so it has, and then the national events that we've been able to do, it has really became like a really thriving business.
Okay. I want to hear about each one of the ones you just told me about, because I feel like a lot of people just have a challenge with keeping up with what's going on.
Sure.
And so to really know that you all are consistent with what you're doing, you can go every Saturday, like you can go every last Friday. Like, so tell us, break down the events.
Sure.
So that people who are tuned in know something that's consistently going on in Nashville.
Well, first you can follow me on Instagram, and you can absolutely see all of the events that I'm producing. And I think Tell a Friend does a really great job of like capturing what is happening.
Job.
Like, because they're on the next level
It's
with that.
been a challenge since I've been here 9.5 years. People like, where's there to go? So they have come through.
They have come through in a good way. But anyway, so we have Indulge Brunch Party. That is every week. That's at Link Social Kitchen. It is from 12 to 5, and it is exactly what you want it to be. It's a very good food. It's multiple DJs. It feels like Chicago. It feels like DC. It feels, it's top 40. It's Afro beats. It's, elevated. People are dressed up. We're having a good time. We have a shot fairy that goes around and celebrates birthdays, and so it's very festive, and that's really the single thread through all of our events. We also produce an event called Jam, Just Another Morning. That's our newest event. It's a 9 a.m. party. And it's just getting people, a seasoned adults, up early.
I thought as I got older, I was going to become a morning person. It still ain't happened
I'm not
yet.
a morning person
Maybe next year.
So the funny part is that I am not a morning person. So when we first started doing Jam, I was like, why am I doing this again? Like, I was telling my business partner, Paige, shout out to Paige Jack. I'm like, this is, everybody knows. She's morning, like she's up at 5 a.m. walking the city and, doing her strolls. And I am like, I just woke up today at about 10.
Same. I have to get dressed and head on now.
Right. It's like, how do I make it to someplace by 12? But you know what? People were there at 9:30, like
That's
ready
fantastic.
to go. And we had breakfast. It was at a distillery, Nelson's Greenbrier. So we had a complimentary mimosa when you came in, and then we had a whiskey tasting that's set up. So again, everything that we're doing is photo booth activations. We had Red Bull as a sponsor, so we had complimentary Red Bull to get you up. And then we had a little Uno battle going on around the tables, just so like, you keep people moving. If you're not the type of person that want to dance, but you still want to do a little interacting, well, we have a little something here for you as well to just keep people, engaging that early in the morning. And it was a big hit. So I'm really proud of that one. And next year, 2026, you'll be able to see more from Jam, Just Another Morning. We're planning on making that a national event. So, and then in addition to that, we have Poor Decisions Happy Hour. And I do that with my partner, Ryan Nelson. And it's you've been to Poor Decisions. What did you think?
I had a fantastic time. It is, because one of the things that I am challenged with here is that there is not like lounges like in Chicago.
Yes,
right?
that's correct.
Like in Chicago, you can just be like, oh, I just want to pop out and have a drink. And I know that I can go to President's Lounge or, where up and down Stoney, there's several places. But we don't have those like grown folk spots. But the vibes of Poor Decisions was that.
Yeah.
The music was good. The great cocktails.
The drinks are
they got
Golden
great,
Pony makes some of the
got,
best cocktails in the city.
I said this is a nice little vibe. Everybody was looking nice. And one of the great things was it was a great mix of men and women. Because a lot of times you go out and you're like, it's
female.
all women. What's going on? It was a great time.
And Poor Decisions also has the cigar concierge. So I think that also helps with getting some of the men out because at a certain, and then we also have a focus. Well, it's sponsored by Don Julio. Thank you, Don Julio. But we also have whiskey cocktails, and they make good drinks. So, I think that helps to get some of those gentlemen out. It's, at 6:00, it starts at 6, so it's not too late. It's over. And we want you at home, out of there by 11, because I want to be gone by 11. I don't want to be there after 11. So it's over at 11. And the event kind of escalates as you're there, right? Like, so it starts out as more of like lounge, just old school hip hop and R&B. And then, at the end, we do what we call the grind hour, where it's all slow jams. And, Ryan and I are like hosting throughout that. And we're kind of doing a battle of slow jams at the end. So I don't know if you noticed that.
I think I missed that. But okay, I like it.
We call it the grind hour. So the last hour is all slow jams, and we're going kind of back to back on like our favorite slow jams, and it becomes like a sing along. It is the best time. It is literally the best time.
Every last Friday.
Every last Friday at the Golden Pony. Okay. With the exception to, we are doing one at Noir for Halloween, which I know this probably air after Halloween, but yes.
Okay. I love it. I love it. And let's talk about the bar crawl, because I got to make sure that we get that in there. I went to, I think, the first one. It sold out on me. The bus sold out on me, but we was hopping around with y'all, and it was such a great time and such an amazing opportunity to visit several Black-owned businesses in the same day and get some money spending in these businesses.
And I think you probably are hearing the thread that I'm going with here. So every space that we have is either Black-owned or Black adjacent. Even at Nelson Greenbrier, LaKendra is a woman of color who is doing their sales management. So it's very intentional with what we do.
They're a great team over there at Nelson Greenbrier. They gave us a $5,000 grant for the work we do with Boom and You. So I definitely, and the whiskey is fantastic. They also gave me a few bottles. And so I got great things to say about them over there.
The experience over there is so amazing, and it's right in the middle of the city, and people just don't even recognize it. But yeah, with the bar crawl, we're going into our 5th year with the bar crawl. And so it's 5 or 6 Black-owned restaurants or lounges or bars. We kick off at 11 a.m. with brunch. We load people up on the party bus. If you can get on the party bus, it's a hot ticket. It sells out every single time. And we take about 350 people from place to place. Jeez. And it ends at about 8 p.m. And the revenue it's a long day. And people, when they see the time frame, they're like, there's no way I'm going to stay this long.
Flies by.
But it goes so fast. And we have entertainment on the buses. We're doing, there's shots and complimentary cocktails by the sponsors at each location. We're doing, like a cocktail contest. So the businesses are competing for like the best cocktail now. So that's something that we've added since probably the last time that you were there. And we've increased the amount of buses. So we're doing 2 party buses, plus we have 2 VIP options as well. So if you want to do an experience, we have Sprinter vans that you can rent out, and you and your crew, you ride from spot to spot with 12 of your friends and just follow. And we do 2 routes. So it's a lot of movement. It's a lot of logistics. But me and my partners really are very passionate about, and it really is a national event. I mean, we have people coming from everywhere: Boston, Miami, Seattle, Chicago. Yeah, we have a huge group that comes from Chicago. We had a women's group that came from Atlanta. They brought 25 people the last one we have. So it's every March. It's around St. Patrick's Day. So it will be next March 2026, St. Patrick's Day. Weekend or the weekend after. It just depends on how things fall. And then we always kick off with happy hour. So that Friday we'll do a happy hour to welcome people into the city. We have the bar crawl, and then on Sunday we do a brunch to
This is the perfect time for people to visit Nashville.
It is.
Like Black people. Let me be very clear. Perfect time for Black folks that are like wanting to come in, wanting to really get a taste of Black Nashville. That's the weekend, like you said.
That's the weekend you want to be
Friday through Sunday. So we got to make sure we tell all of our friends, come on in, St. Patrick's weekend, 2026 and beyond. Yep. You come on in, you going to hop on a bus or get a Sprinter. I want a Sprinter.
You need a Sprinter. Yeah, you got to have that Sprinter experience. It's the next level. I don't know if I fool with
12 people, but I'll figure it out. I will figure it out.
Maybe it's 5 or 6, but, we have people celebrating their birthday. So one young lady, she had her friends. But, people were mad about that. Last year was the first year we did the Sprinters. And folks were like, wait a minute.
How do I get a Sprinter? I love it.
So you can anticipate.
I love the evolution. I love the evolution. So congratulations on all of that. So make sure you all are following Kim. Tell them how to follow you.
Yeah, I'm the Kimberly Adams on Instagram. You can follow the Black Bar Crawl at the Black Bar Crawl Nash. And you can follow our events production company, immersivevents.co. But if you follow me, you can find all of it.
All right, fantastic. Now let's jump on in. We're going to talk a little business.
Yeah.
Because outside of the events, you are a businesswoman,
SlimPickins Boutique Design.
Boutique. And you dressing people. So it goes beyond just people being able to shop with you. You are styling folks.
I am.
And that is amazing.
Thank
so
you.
just tell us, what is SlimPickins? What all do you do?
Yeah, so a lot of people don't know that my background is actually fashion design. So I have a bachelor's degree in fashion design, and I started out as a costume designer. So before I ever got into like official business, which my career has been in project management, so the event planning was the natural thing. I started out as I've always been a creative. And so I sat it down for a long time because you know how it is in business. Like it's hard, when you thinking, and this is back in, not to date myself, but back in the 90s when I was in college. And then, going into 2000, we didn't have the internet. We couldn't just reach out to brands and, say, hey, this is what I'm working on. Can I come work or intern and all of that? You really had to like write letters and find people's, address and hope they respond. And so it was a much different time. And so I put it down for a long time. And my partner in the bar crawl, Leslie Martin Nunnery, actually went to undergrad with me and knew me for fashion. And when she moved here to work on a show called Pickler and Ben, she said, Kim, at that time I was doing hair because I've been doing the most.
We be doing the most.
No, absolutely.
I understand.
And she was like, we don't have anybody to do Black women's hair for these makeover shows. Can you like make some wigs? And I'm like, sure. And she's like, and what are you doing with the fashion stuff? I said, I haven't done fashion. At that time, probably it was 10 years. I was like, I haven't done anything in fashion in 10 years. She said, oh no, we got to get you back into this. So I started coming onto the show as an assistant stylist. When I would do the makeover shows, I would help with the hair and then help with the clothes and all of that and do alterations and that kind of thing. And that really kind of like sparked the desire to kind of try it again, And then I had another friend that we started a boutique together called 96 Boutique, and that didn't necessarily work out, but I knew that I wanted to do styling. So SlimPickins was really created for me to find an avenue to get into styling and costuming, because that's always been a dream. But I started out with the store, and then I met Just Witty, and she's one of my clients, and Ariana the personality, and they were like my test dummies. They like, all right, we gonna style you and see how this goes, and and I've been doing like films on the side, but quietly. No one, I don't advertise it. People will call me because they know that I have this background and will say, well, can you come and do this film? And so most folks know that I've been styling Jill Scott, and it started with a yes. And that's why I tell people, don't be afraid to say yes to the free stuff, because the free thing or almost free thing is what got me that introduction. And while I was there, was able to make an impression. And, from there, we did Essence together. We did, a show in Alabama, and hopefully some more stuff in the near future. And so it's the free thing sometimes that really help kind of reignite the spark. And I'm a woman of strong faith, and I feel like God, sometimes when you can't see it, He'll send people to plant seeds in you and remind you of who He called you to be. I think I got so far away from it doing project management, just wanting that corporate hustle. And I've been doing all of it at the same time for many years. And as of August, I haven't even shared this publicly, but I was let go. I'm one of the 300,000 women of my corporate job at Ernst & Young, that you all dream about. And you have to figure out what you're going to do. And thankfully, these businesses have gotten to a point where they've been able to sustain me.
Amazing.
And I didn't even know that was going to happen. But I've been saying, then I'm like, I got to stop doing all of this, right? And my friends, they were concerned, like, Kim, how are you doing? I'm like, I don't know, it's God, right? And I kept saying, at 45, I'm going to get rid of this corporate job. But in my mind, it was right before I turned 46 in 2026 when I have all my ducks in a row. And 3 months after I turned 45, not even 3 months,
happening.
2 months, sis, it's now.
Yeah.
It's now.
Yeah.
Whether you ready or not, it's today.
You got to get ready.
It's today. So, but that's the background of the fashion, and what people see is it's not a quick hit. It's been a very long road. 1998 is when I started the fashion journey. And I put it down for over 10 years. I picked it back up, and look what happened. But I think it had to happen that way for me to mature, for me to get more rooted and founded in a solid foundation of who I am, and even to learn how to do business for real, you know, because I was just doing it because I like it. I like clothes. I like being fly. I like making women feel like they can do it too, you know, and that's what this whole thing is about. So some people might see the looks and they're like, I could style better. Maybe you can, but can you make them feel like when they walk out, they the baddest chick in the room? Can you make people understand that if I'm not here or you're not there, they can still look nice? They know how to put a jacket with a pants with, and so many people I work with don't. Like they literally like, what kind of underwear am I supposed to wear? What size bra do I wear? Like so many women don't even know, have never been to a fitting at a Victoria's Secret, which they do for free.
Yeah.
And so those are the kind of conversations that I'm having with your boss babe, the one that you think is the coldest one, that's excelling in every other area, but doesn't have the time to sit down and figure that other stuff or the desire. That's where I come in.
I love it. I love it. I mean, man, it was so much. I was like, it was so much in the story. I want to go all the way back to like the free stuff, because a lot of people are challenged with how do they decide what free opportunities they should take advantage of, right? They're like, you know, somebody asked me to speak or they asked me to do this thing or I'm volunteering or they want me to volunteer. Like, how do you decide, like, what are the things that you should, the opportunities that you should go ahead and take on even though they may not be paid?
Well, I'm a servant first, right? So even with events, I volunteered at Mount Zion doing events for 10 years as their event coordinator for free. Before I ever did a party, I was doing that at 6 a.m, setting up food displays, okay? With the costuming, I think you have to understand, and I was doing that because I just loved it. With the costuming and the fashion, you have to understand what you need too. Right. So do you need practice? Do you need photos? Do you need experience? If you need experience and those people have a platform that'll allow you, one, to get the experience, but also to get the exposure, it might be worth you doing it for free. Like, so someone like Whitney, who has a million followers.
Yeah.
Someone called me and asked me, can I style her for free? Yeah, I just started my boutique. I absolutely can. I absolutely can, right? Like, she has my target demographic, which is, you know, Black Christian women, successful women, right? So right there, that's plus. Number two, she has the need, right? Like, she does her comedy skits, but it's all about her kind of being this wholesome kind of tomboy, right? So I get to help her show another side of herself. So that's number two. There is a need that I can help fulfill, so it makes sense. I don't just do the stuff if it don't make sense. Yeah. It gotta make sense.
Yeah.
And so you have to be able to say on the back end, maybe I'm not getting the money, but I got the pictures. I got the exposure online. I also have a relationship with her and her, you know, husband, and they referred me for opportunities. So yes, it's worth it. With the film, Melisha Edwards is one of my sorors. She's an S.A. Morrison. They have a film production company, 353 Media. Love them, right?
Love them.
They do extraordinary work in the city. You call me and you ask me, Kim, can you come and do this project with Jill Scott, and we only got $200? Yeah.
I'm going to come over there. Yeah.
Who all going to be there? Who? Okay.
Yeah, let me drop whatever I'm doing.
I'm on the way.
Yeah.
And so people have to get past that pride. And I mean, and I know we're in this kind of microwave society where everything got to happen. And, you know, on social media, it make you feel like everybody rich and famous and everybody getting paid $1 million to do all the things. And I'm here to tell you, it's not the truth.
It's not. It's not.
It's not.
It's not. It's not.
But if you do the small thing, I promise, and you do it well, there'll be an opportunity for you to make the money.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Sometimes you do just need the practice. Like you said, you need the opportunity. I've been speaking for free for years because I want to continue to grow my speaking skills. So it may not be the $10,000 speaking gig today, but the better and better I get at it, the more it's increasing my value down the line.
Correct.
I know that can be a challenge for some folks.
Let it resonate in your spirit. Like, I've been practicing. I call it practicing, but I've been working with Whitney and Avriana and doing the makeover shows on Channel 2 live for free for almost 3 years, right? if I hadn't have had that practice when I got to the opportunity with Miss Scott, how would I have known even what to do?
Yeah.
I wouldn't have, because I had been out of the game for 10 years, for real, you know? And then Pickler and Ben has been off the airways for a few years. So I'm rusty.
Yeah.
So now I can go and I can have those conversations. I'm comfortable talking to brands about, like, can you give me this stuff tomorrow? You know?
And your confidence, you know, when you have that practice, when you've been doing it, then you know you can do it. You can sell yourself, you know, and you have that confidence in what you're going to deliver as well. You don't want to go in the door rusty and feeling like, I'm going to see.
I'm going to see.
I'm going to see what happens.
Yeah, that's where you don't want to practice. You have to be prepared. And when opportunity meets preparedness, then you can excel to the next level. But you gotta prepare, even if it's the small things. It's the small steps that get, it's the small wins, the small hits. It's not always the big bang. It's not.
Yeah. Just keep consistency. Consistency. All right, let's get to our last segment, boom or bust. Okay. So we're going to talk about boom. Give us one thing. I mean, you gave us a big one already, but if you could dig deep for another boom, something that you have done amazing that you want to celebrate.
Amazing that I want to celebrate. So we've done a couple of really cool film projects. And they are around like the reparation, so 100 years of reparation, and that's being shopped around, and so hopefully that will be coming to a screen near you very, very well. So very, very, very soon. So I'm very proud of that. Also did a project with Miss Scott that hopefully will make it to major networks soon as well. Called Ella. So very, very proud of those things. And then with the events, you know, we've been working with CMA for the past year. We created an event for them called Country Forward to celebrate diversity and inclusion within the country music space. It's an industry event that is specifically to highlight artists that are in the diaspora or, you know, LGBTQ. I hope I'm saying that right. And it's been phenomenal. So we've produced 3 events for them. We have one coming up during CMA Awards. And then we also have another one called Origins Awards, which is specific for people of color with Corey Jones that we're producing. I'm so proud of.
I'm looking forward to it. I'm presenting at the Origin Awards, so I'm excited about that.
Did you go last year?
I did. We did. Okay. We had a good time. It was amazing. We were blown away by these artists that, you know, you've never heard of that are amazingly talented. Like amazing. And are Black and brown people. Yep. So it was a great event last year. I'm looking forward to it coming up next month. So, and then, all right, a bust. What is a challenge or something that has not gone the way you wanted it to go, but you may have learned some lessons from it?
I would say the boutique, right? Like most people know I had a storefront. And, you know, super excitement, a lot of excitement around that. And, you know, 6 months in, the foundation of the building collapsed, right? So you have to pivot and you have to figure out what to do. That just happened, you know, at the top of the year. And I still haven't fully rebound with the store from that. So, you know, people might notice that I haven't been rolling out the products and stuff like that like I normally would. There's been more of an intentionality around the styling. And that's part of the reason why. So trying to figure out what's next, and then being impacted by the tariffs, right? So getting the products in, you know, this whole, I call him 4547 because I don't like to say his name, but y'all know, if you know, some of the things that are happening with our government, it's impacting everybody. I'm no exception to that. Absolutely. You know, and so I haven't been able to get the merchandise in as quickly as I like to do and get the photo shoots and stuff turned around. So I would say in 2025, that probably has been the biggest bust.
Yeah, it's been rough for small businesses. We were on the Hill last week advocating for small businesses and just talking a lot about the tariffs, you know, and how they have impacted small businesses, which in turn puts a lot of small businesses in the position where they need to access some capital real quick, you know, which is why we do work at Boom and You to really get folks ready for that, because this is a challenging time and we don't know when. We don't know what else.
What else?
We don't even know what else. Exactly. We're not even a whole year in. So we don't know what's gonna come and what's gonna trickle down. You know, I want to ask you one last question, because there's so many small business owners that consider going into a brick and mortar. And I tell all of them, don't.
You see my face.
Be very, very, very careful. I mean, as someone who I've owned a spa in Chicago, it was a challenge the entire time. But what advice would you give to a small business owner if they're considering going into a brick and mortar space?
I would say know your numbers. Know how much money you're bringing in, and know your operating budget, how much it's going to take you to keep that building. And then also look at your contracts, because if you're going into a building and it's a 10-year lease or a 5, are you sure that you can commit to that? And if you can't, what happens? Because that could very easily, a business that's doing okay could take you out of business, period.
Yeah. I mean, like you said, something like tariffs come in unexpectedly and drop your margin or make you to the point where you're not profitable anymore. And that's a game changer.
That's a game, or the foundation of your building collapse.
Exactly. I mean, when you have that level of overhead that you're committed to, and like you said, you're contractually obligated, to pay. That's a whole different ball game for a small business owner. So
and people don't know. It's just to add one more thing about the buildings. It's like you get the buildings, but some of those landlords do not maintain the maintenance of the building, and a lot of the insurance is there's gaps where they don't share what's covered fully and what's not. So for my example, the building collapse, the foundation collapse. My insurance would not have covered my merchandise if it had gotten damaged. And I didn't find that out until way after the fact. And I'm like, why? This doesn't even make sense. And she gave me some jargon of why and what and all of that. Thankfully, the merchandise didn't get damaged. But what if it had?
Yeah. And we don't even think about what... I mean, because who's going to think the foundation of the building is going to collapse? You don't think about that. But we have to start being really forward thinking about what are all the things that could go wrong, because it's like all the things we never thought could happen
tomorrow. They happen today, tomorrow, and tomorrow. Yeah,
absolutely. Well, this was fantastic, Kim. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
This was
so
great.
Excited to be here.
I can't wait for people to hear this and see this and just learn more about what you're doing. For those that may have missed it, tell folks again, how do they find you online?
Yes, you can find me at the Kimberly Adams on Instagram. I'm Kimberly Adams on Facebook. I'm active in Black People Making Moves. You can find me there. I'm always chatting around and dropping events in and things of that nature. But yes, if you want an event planned, if you want styling services, just hit me up.
Thanks so much for tuning in, everyone. This has been Beyond the Boom with Danielle McGee Gibson.